I've been getting a lot of questions as of late asking about something like this, Bilthamber Touchless. This is an alkaline-based snow foam pre-wash or pre-rinse shampoo. Now, a lot of the questions that come up are, how often is it safe to use a product like this? Why should I pick this over something like a pH-neutral shampoo? Is it even better than a pH-neutral shampoo? Why are they so hard to dilute? Can you use them in different ways, such as in a normal spray trigger, or do you have to use them directly in a foam cannon? We're going to answer all of those questions and put these head to head against a pH neutral shampoo to see which one is actually better for cleaning and which one you should actually spend your money on. Welcome back to another out of spec detailing video. Let's jump into it. If you are new to this channel, one thing you should know about me is that I take washing very seriously. The reason being is, when we are washing our car, we are at the greatest risk of actually damaging our vehicle. It's kind of counterintuitive. You're taking care of your car, cleaning the dirt, the bird poop off, the mag chloride, the water spots, whatever it may be. You are actually at the highest risk of chemically hurting your vehicle in terms of leaving stains on your paint, your glass, your plastic trim, or in fact scratching your vehicle by putting in love marks or scratches or swirls, whatever you want to call them. Now, there are so many different methodologies out there and how you should be washing your car, using this soap versus that soap, using grit guards in a bucket, using 3 buckets, using a 2 bucket method, using a 1 bucket method with 10 different wash mitts, and kind of everything in between. The one thing I always come back to though is the foam, rinse, foam mentality. That is basically taking a dry, cool to the touch vehicle, either using a alkaline based snow foam like Bilthamber Touchless over here, or a pH neutral shampoo like Meguiar's Shampoo Plus, foaming it onto the vehicle, letting it sit, letting it eat up that dirt, grime, the road film, all of the mag chloride, whatever it may be on the surface of your vehicle, letting it sit, giving it a good healthy rinse, and then refoaming it with a pH neutral shampoo and actually doing your contact wash. Now, I know for a lot of you watching different detailing related content creators on YouTube, it can kind of get confusing on sometimes when to use this product over this product, which product is actually better than another, because a lot of the times you have content creators that are also producing the chemicals, trying to promote them. You have some that are just completely unbiased reviewing chemicals, and you also have those in between who make their own products that actually review other products and do a very good job at it. But I think one of the things that a lot of you get confused by is when you should be using a pH neutral shampoo over an alkaline based shampoo over an acid based shampoo. Now, a lot of the times previously in my detailing career, when I would grab something with high alkalinity or low acid in it, would be when my ceramic coatings started to get clogged. And what we've seen as of recently is that a lot of guys and a lot of channels are starting to use these products more on a frequent basis, and I kind of subscribe to that as well. Now, a lot of these products have evolved in technology over the year, Bilthamber Touchless being one of them, and these are absolutely safe to use pretty much every single time you wash your car, with some caveats. With heavy acid or alkaline based cleaning solutions, what you need to do is make sure you are properly diluting these. You also want to be very cautious and very careful about using, especially something with heavy acid or heavy alkaline base, of washing these in the sunshine and letting them dry on the car. Fun fact, I actually was just watching Matt Mormon on Obsessed Garage. Huge shout out to Matt. Love his channel. I've learned so much from him over the years that I do in my normal detailing career on a daily basis. But he just put out a video recently washing, I think, 6 of his cars in like 34 minutes using Bilthamber Touchless in his foam cannons. Basically, the premise was, can I wash all of these cars in a very quick period of time? He went in with Bilthamber Touchless in a hot, humid day down in Florida, and he actually ended up staining his Model 3 Performance window trim because of Bilthamber Touchless here. So that is one thing I would be cautious about. You don't need to freak out about it, but if you're washing a car, normally I wash 1 at a time. I would never try and do 2. You have soap, drying drying and you're running around scrambling, it's never a great situation. You just need to be cautious about a product like this drying, where if you're using a pH neutral shampoo, 9 times out of 10, even if you're washing out in the sunshine, you can let a product like this dry, rinse it off, and it's going to come back and you will never even know it dried on the surface. That's the beauty of having a pH neutral shampoo. So one of the big questions you guys had for me was, when should I be using this product? Is this a use it every single time? Is it use it only when I need it? And I would say it's kind of both. This is not a product or kind of a methodology you need to use every single time you wash your car. 9 times out of 10, especially with my Model 3 Performance, currently how that car is, I'm not daily driving it, so I'm taking it out very infrequently. It sits here in the shop, it gets kind of dusty, then I'll take it on a canyon road, get some bugs, it may get hit by a bird bomb and have just kind of a light layer of film and dust on it, nothing too crazy. You can 100% go in with pH neutral shampoo, foam it down, let it dwell, rinse it, refoam it, and do your contact wash. I would say more or less when I use this product is when the car needs that extra cleaning power. When I can really see that dirt and grime on there, that is when I'm going to break this out. Now, that's not to say you need to use this every single time, like I said. Just be smart about it. If your budget suggests that you can or can't use these products, then yeah, if you can afford it, use a product like this every time. But it is also very economical when you use it in a sprayer like this, or even a larger one, whatever your situation may be. This stuff actually is very economical to use. And I'm always for doing the safest possible wash method whenever you possibly can. Again, remember the whole idea of this product and the foam rinse foam mentality is to get as much dirt and grime off as you can before you ever even touch it with a wash mitt. That, of course, is going to give you the safest possible washing, barring that your other techniques are still good to go. So don't think too hard about it. If you want to use a product like this, you need to use it. Again, what I see a lot of people use this for, though, is when your ceramic coatings start to get, very clogged, they're not beading quite as well. That's when you're gonna need a little bit more cleaning power like this. So for me, after it rains, I'm gonna grab something like this. I'm gonna remove that road film, remove the minerals off of the car, and we're gonna be good to go. So next quick thing I wanna talk about is dilution ratios. I quickly touched on this earlier on, but it is very important with alkaline-based snow foams as well as acid-based snow foams that you are properly diluting these chemicals. I very quickly touched on this, but the reason being is because what they come straight out of the bottle can actually be pretty caustic stuff. So for example, some Koch Chemie acid soaps that I've used in the past, in the actual bottle, they are a pH of 1. When you actually dilute it with water, once it actually hits the panel of the car, you're at a pH of 3. That can be a massive difference in between. On the flip side, with pH neutral shampoos, I am always the case of this, of just like, okay, add a little bit more. It looks cooler on camera. It's more satisfying. I don't think it actually does much more in terms of cleaning power, but I like to use a little bit more product in there. So that is something I am always very careful with this. The other thing with alkaline-based cleaning solutions, all of them can be very different, just like any other product on the market with their dilution ratios. So another product that I use, an alkaline-based snow foam, Lava Cosmetica Primus 2.0, very simple to dilute. When your car is really dirty, really needs a lot of cleaning power, use a 1:5 dilution. They typically call that the winter time. So if you've got a lot of road film, mineral deposits, mag chloride, all of that fun stuff. When it's more kind of weekly maintenance washes, you can use a 1:10 dilution ratio. You're good to go. Over here, it gets a little bit more tricky. That's my one negative with this product for new beginners coming into using a product like this, and why it can be a little challenging for me to recommend this to all of you, is just because of how complicated the dilution can be the first time you do it. So, Built Hamber, and this is one thing I appreciate and is kind of a negative at the same time, goes for a panel impact ratio. Now, in layman's terms, what that means is they're trying to get a desired amount of solution onto the vehicle after going through a foam cannon. For example, Built Hamber is aiming for either a 0.5 or anywhere up to 2% dilution ratio. So for example, an IK foam sprayer here, let's just for example say you want 1,000 milliliters of solution, 980 of that is going to be your water, only 20 milliliters of your actual solution here, because you don't have any more water with your dilution. Now with this, completely different story. Even if you use that same dilution ratio, by the time it hits the car with all the water coming through your pressure washer here, you are diluting that down. So the way you do their panel impact ratio can get confusing. There are some great tutorials out there. I did one, it wasn't the best one out there, but essentially the easiest way to think about this, you fill up your foam cannon with your 1,000 milliliters of water. You then spray the entire container of solution, just water in here, into a bucket of water. You then measure how much water was actually in there. By the time this was empty, you take 0.5 or 2% of that. That is your in dilution ratio. What I can tell you is you're gonna go through a lot more solution of Built Hamber Touchless using this than you are the IK foam sprayer or the Multi-Pro 2 like I'm using here today. And that's gonna be what we're doing. So for one, I'm going to be doing a little test here between the two of these to see if it makes any difference using a very, very simple spray trigger. I know most of you are looking at this like, oh, that's not one of the, bottles like that. Yes, this is a pressurized bottle. So we're going to get this all and then you can spray it. Just makes your life a little bit easier. Then we're going to use it in the foam cannon. The big thing I want to showcase here today though is the cleaning ability of this over something just like pH neutral shampoos. I think you'll still be very, very impressed with how much cleaning power Meguiar Shampoo Plus has in it. This is absolutely one of my favorite pH neutral shampoos on the market. There are many out there at many different price points. I just reviewed some recently that are, 90 bucks a gallon, but they're, more concentrated. You get into this whole math game. I like buying a $30 bottle of soap here and diluting it and just running through it because I'm not worried about, oh, I added this much more. I'm just like, whatever. It's simple, it's easy, it's a nice attractive price point for you guys that are washing very infrequently compared to me here at the shop. So let's jump into cleaning up my wife's very dirty EV9. On the right side here we have our Meguiar Shampoo Plus. I'm going to try and split this straight down the middle. Then I'll swap over here, try and do a more consistent spray pattern this time. I think we got a good dilution on each side there. So let's let this sit. Let's see how this cleans. Okay, so already seeing something pretty interesting here. Don't know if you can spot this down here. Now you can see both of the soaps pretty similar in how they basically flood the surface, really pulling it off. The interesting thing though, this right side, look how much whiter this foam is versus over here. Again, try to do it exactly the same. Even all the way down into here, stays very white throughout, and then you can just see all that dirt and grime that Built Hamber is actually pulling off. Look at over here as well. Again, back to this side, that is really that alkaline-based cleaning power, the science, the technology that goes into that. It's not to say pH neutral shampoos are bad at all. It's really, really not. This stuff is just meant to go in there, chemically remove it, pull that dirt and grime off of there. And I think that is one of the biggest differences I could ever show you, is how white that is and how brown that is. I hope it comes through on camera. It's not to say that this side isn't pulling anything off. You can still see some dirt and grime, but that is a very, very clear difference there of how much it's actually pulling off. That is pretty wild. So we'll wait a little bit until this is to the point where we really need to rinse it down. Once we do, kind of give you a final feelings here and see how well it cleaned. Again, we'll do our yellow microfiber trick on here. It'll be really interesting to do it exactly on this side versus on this side and see if we can see any differences. We'll probably dry this down as well. That way you can get kind of a good idea of the more cleaning power that is going into the differences of soaps. Still sitting a little bit more. You can still see we're going to have some dirt and grime on there. It's going to be same on the Built Hamber side. Look how bright white this foam is. Then you come over here. Look at all the dirt and grime it's pulling out of there. That is just a massive difference. You can really see it right there, can't you? That's pretty crazy. So let me set you on the tripod. We'll get this rinsed down and give you my final thoughts. All right, now we're ready to rinse. All right, so let's bring in a little bit closer, and I'm already noticing a few things. So over here, you can still see some of these kind of water spots. Over here on the built hammer side, a lot less dirt and grime remaining. Even actually on the EV9 here, you can see the dirt right here still coming off quite a bit, and you still have, even up here, it's quite a bit less, but you can see a little distinct difference there. Pretty wild stuff. It's really, really wild. So I'm gonna flip over our microfiber here, drop the towel, so got a fresh one. That's the fun of filming with one hand. But nonetheless, start over here with this on the built hammer side. You'll see we've still got some dirt and grime in there, pretty normal. Let's try and do pretty much exactly the same thing over here on the pH neutral side, and boom. That is a very, very big difference. So again, this is the whole mentality of which one would you rather touch a wash mitt to now. Now, again, would never recommend actually doing this to a car. Would always recommend you have lubrication on there. Water is lubrication, but having that pH neutral shampoo, once we have rinsed the entire thing, refoamed it, that's the big difference. But that to me is very telling of the difference between these two products. Again, built hammer touchless is not completely a touchless wash. It is a touchless wash, which I still don't love the name of because you're still having to touch it even though you're doing hand wash. I don't know, it's just kind of weird to me. I guess you could get away with, you know, not contact washing it, but if your car's not that dirty in the meantime, then you can probably just use a pH neutral shampoo. Nonetheless, I think this is a pretty interesting test. And again, just pretty wild down here when you come like in the EV9, you can just see all that dirt in there. Over here, pretty much nothing. So very dependent on the surface, of course, but you could really see a huge difference down there. Again, not knocking Meguiar Shampoo Plus here, just still one of my favorite pH neutral shampoos, great detergents in it. But in the case of this car, when it's got, you know, this much road grime on it and honestly has been kind of neglected, what do you really expect? So hope this was an interesting video for you guys, and hopefully you've gained some insights of when you should be using alkaline based pre-washes, when you should not, everything kind of in between. They are definitely safe to use on a weekly basis. Honestly, if I'm going to use this, especially built hammer, I'm going to go down to a 0.5 PIR. A lot of you guys have said you use it at that dilution ratio. Still happy with it. Jury for me is kind of out whether I like it in a foam cannon or the IK. I don't know. I think the IK is a little bit more annoying to use, but you use more product with foam cannon. So it's kind of 50-50 for me. I'll continue to do some playing with it, but always a really interesting test. I hope this brought to light some differences between different soaps and how you can use them to your advantage, and that not all soaps are created equal like I think a lot of people think they are. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in another one soon. Bye-bye.